Long ago, the lands between were visited by a great war. The Shattering, as it was known, destroyed order itself, causing an abomination to arise. A never-ending night, with heavy rains threatening to wash away its very history. The night corrupts those it reaches, bringing them to madness and fight among each other. Those that are known as the Nightfarers were brought together by happenstance, and have very few in common. However, they are bound by a will to fight back the night until every shred of their being is ground away. The priestess, an overseer and guidance, has guided the Nightfarers to the shrouded Round Table Hold, where they are safe and sheltered from the night's menace, and serviced by the Iron Menial. As long as the night still stands, the priestess and the Iron Menial will keep guiding the Nightfarers through Limveld until they finally reach the Night Lord and eliminate him. The Wylder departed from his faraway home, braving the sea of fog to reach Limveld. Traveling through the heavy rain of the condemned night, the Wylder arrived injured at the Round Table. A Nightfarer's forays wither the soul in cloud recollection, causing one night to bleed into the next. But of one thing he remained certain, that he must track down the Night Lord and bury it. There was no choice. He repeated the words to himself all the while, clenching a precious object in his hand. A solitary earring, its counterpart long lost. The Iron Menial called for him, asking the Wylder to procure a whetstone. The one he currently has little life left, and it is his priority to make sure the Nightfarers' armaments are in tip-top shape. The Wylder accepted, and the Iron Menial told him with certainty he would find the stone in the mines of Limveld. Out in the mines in Limveld, he finds a whetstone, but a corrupted Crystallian appears to fight the Wylder. It has proven challenging to fight it due to its crystal shield, but once the Wylder broke it, the enemy was easily defeated. The Wylder returns to the Round Table Hold and hands over the whetstone to the Iron Menial. He thanks the Wylder and wants to reward his kindness, but has little to offer. He places items on the table for the Wylder to pick up, but next to the table, there's a workbench with which lies an earring. The ornamentation seems to change with the intensity of the light. Wylder reaches out to pick the earring up, but the Iron Menial stops him, saying it belongs to the priestess. The Wylder said he would borrow it, and the Iron Menial accepted him to take it as long as he made sure to return it to the priestess. In a corner of the Round Table Hold, light shines through the ceiling to a dimly lit room. There stood the Wylder, holding his earring and the priestess' earring up to the light, casting a pattern on the wall. Two horses gallop side by side. May the wind spur us on our paths. To the Wylder, this was a big revelation. Could it really be true? The Wylder makes his way to the Duchess, another name for the priestess. He hands over her earring, in which she thanks him, saying it took little time to repair it, that it is of great value to her, a compass that will lead her to someone dear. She excuses herself for talking his ear off, and makes sure he is prepared for the next battle. The Wylder heads off to face the night with companions. Though it proved challenging, the Nightfarers are one step closer to face the Night Lord. He dreamt of his home. Two horses galloping across Windwell Knoll. They were a healthy pair of twins, which was rare. To the Wylder and to Blank, the horses were special. Upon a hill, they ran abreast. He looked at her, hair dancing in the wind. He saw the earring on her left ear, but he could not recall a face. "My lord, Wylder, how are you today?" The voice of the Iron Menial awakened him. Time for another errand, no doubt, in which the Wylder and the other Nightfarers head off to face the night, yet again, returning with another success. Clutching the now solitary earring, the Wylder drifted off into sleep. The sun was setting on Windwell Knoll. As if in deference to its name, A gale howled. The dreaded winter was approaching. By the time of the first frost, he knew that his sister would be far along her journey. The Wylder fell silent, and Blank, flashing her signature smile, flickering her earring with her finger. Goodbye for now, dear brother. Once we're done, we'll meet again. He could not remember her name, but he always remembered those parting words. The Wylder continued to fight, never mentioning his younger sister. There was no way forward except the soldier through the war at hand. He returned to the Round Table hold that day to discover a note from the Iron Menial. I've considered what might explain your signature obsession with that earring. Then it came to me. The two of you possess a striking likeness, so much so that I simply cannot deny it. There is something that you must know. Please check the study. Then, could it really be true? If the Iron Menial suspects it, then it must mean the Duchess is his sister. The Wylder makes it to the study room, eager to know what the Iron Menial found, as it must be related to the Duchess. Short passages were left for him to read. A short passage on the Priestess of the Round Table reads, "The Priestess, mouthpiece of the Formalist Master, rooted to the Round Table. She must share its fate." Another short passage on the passing of the night reads, "Hark, warriors! Fell the Lord, and thy sins absolve. Upon the breaking of the night, the hold shall crumble, and thou shalt be unbound." The last short passage on the underground crypt reads, "We lie the condemned of the first nightfall, whose sin is too great for absolution by our own deeds. Thus we shall ever guide our progeny until the night breaks." A heavy door is heard being opened as the Wylder finished reading the passages. He finds the source of the sound, and there is a crypt beneath the Round Table. The Iron Menial had been waiting for him. The Iron Menial confirms that these crypts are filled with ancient people of these lands. He was looking after them long ago, but a Muppet such as himself, mortal life does not apply to him. However, these souls were laid to rest here in anticipation of the current threat, as a form of ritual to draw the minds of the descendants here. He continues saying the priestess was here long before the Nightfarers came, since she is held captive by the Round Table itself. The Wylder takes a look around the room. There are writings on the crypts and stones. To atone for the first sin, we elect to become the foundation. The ways of the cutting point of the deep woods bestow branches to those who are worthy and wise. The ways to the cutting point of Windwell Knoll bestow branches to those who wander and roam. The Wylder exits the room and searches for the priestess. It took time, but he finally found her outside, isolated by the seashore. The Wylder approaches her and asks her if she is trapped here. The Duchess was not too impressed, as she immediately knew the Iron Menial let the cat out of the bag. She confirms she is imprisoned by the Round Table. Once the night has been dealt with, it will be goodbye. She finishes by saying she is glad all of the Nightfarers are in this together. Not knowing what to say, the Wylder takes his leave. The Wylder had the same dream time and time again. A long night persists, driving its clanfolk to madness. After a horrific battle, all that remained upon Windwell Knoll is a sea of gravestones. After the death of his cousin Farhad, little Shirin, and his own father, the clan chieftain, the Wylder discovers that only he remains, and now only he can avenge his clan. Only he can bring an end to the night. But even if he can, once we're done, it'll be goodbye. Even if the night were extinguished, the twin horses will never gallop aside another again. Holding his greatsword, the Wylder drifted off to sleep. Out of nowhere, he heard the rustle of cloths, then the clink of something being placed on the table. The Wylder awoke and slowly sat up. He got up and headed to the table. There is a note attached to a key. The note reads, "Take this, warrior. I apologize for mine intrusion." On the note, there are also directions on where the key belongs to. The Wylder prepares himself for yet another trip in Limveld to fight off the night once more, but this time he is alone. Traveling across Limveld, the Wylder fights any who crosses paths with him, and he fights off the night, all while making his way to the note's destination. Vanquishing everything in his way, he finally reaches his mark, but there is a problem. A headless troll is in the way. The Wylder fights the troll. Exhaustion catches up to him quick, but he does not give up, and finally, he bested the creature. Where the destination ends, there is a chest. He opens it and the Wylder sees a silver tear. The purpose of a silver tear is to rebirth oneself. The Wylder was now certain who sent him out on this task. He finishes off fighting the knight and returns to the round table and seeks the Iron Menial. The Iron Menial is at his repair station. He sees the Wylder approach and says to him that it is excellent he procured the silver tear. He feels sorry for putting the Wylder in that position, but he will do anything if it means saving her, that her fate is now in his hands. The Wylder makes his way to his belongings. The silver tear he grasps was gently throbbing. How did the Iron Menial know? He has talked to no one about this, about him slowly succumbing to his injuries. He must have observed it from all the time the Wylder had been resting, which has been more increasing. Arrived at his belongings, the Wylder discovers a familiar brooch. In his tribe, when a warrior gave such a gift to another, it was a promise to ever fight side by side, whether separated by land or by sea. Did his young sister remember such customs? He pinned the brooch to his coat, as was their practice, and gently placed his hand upon it. Once we're done, it'll be goodbye. He knew the twin horses would never run free again, as once they did side by side, but perhaps just one could gallop onward. This was the day where all Nightfarers are guided to fight the Night Lord. One last time, and it will all be over. Everyone fighting the night and its monstrosity with bravery and courage. They have fought long and hard for this day to come. Failure was not an option. They finally reached the Night Lord, and the fight goes on and on and on, but no one is giving up. When finally, the Night Lord has been defeated. With the silver tear in hand, the Wylder walks toward the Night Lord's body. When the night ends, his sister will leave with it, and the Wylder hasn't much time either, as he is growing weaker from his injuries. He uses the silver tear on himself while facing the Night Lord, and he falls to the ground. The Night Lord's body begins to move. The Wylder has succeeded in using the silver tear. He was now the new Night Lord. As long as the night stays, his sister will live. The Wylder walks away in his new body, repeating in his thoughts, "One will keep galloping onward."